How to sum up the San Jose Sharks drafting William Eklund? Eck yeah. Eck yeah. Welcome back, Twisters and Hey There hockey fans. Nick here, albeit a little bit under the weather, but nonetheless, I wanted to talk about the San Jose Sharks drafting William Eklund in the first round of the 2021 NHL entry draft. First of all, Doug Wilson, tip of the cap, because guess what? You held on to your first round draft pick. You actually did it. So we actually got a very talented player in Eklund in the first round. I'm very excited about this. Hopefully you guys are too, and I want to know, of course, what you think of William Eklund with the Sharks down in those comments below. For a while there, it wasn't seeming like Eklund would fall to us at pick number 7. I thought that the Sharks would have their pick at somebody like Kent Johnson or Dylan Guenther, or maybe even Jesper Wallstedt. But lo and behold, William Eklund was available at number 7, and as the Sharks had revealed to the media, he was number 2 on their draft board after Matty Beniers, who was selected by the Seattle Kraken. Now, Eklund is actually the highest draft pick for the San Jose Sharks since 2003, when the Sharks drafted Milan Mihalik in that very, very iconic draft class. He was drafted as a left winger, but he can also play center, although at least in terms of what the Sharks need right now, they need top 6 winger talent at this moment. But nonetheless, he's only 18 years old. He'll turn 19 in October when the season opens. So he's a young guy, and maybe he'll find his way onto the roster. Not entirely sure if he'll crack top 6, but nonetheless, he has that talent in the making. As a matter of fact, I had seen a couple of quotes out there in mock drafts that said that maybe he's the most NHL ready forward. Now, Eklund is listed at 5'10", 172 pounds. And that might seem a little bit small at first, but think about this. He's only 18 years old. He could still grow another half an inch or an inch. He could fill out a little bit more. And smaller players in the NHL definitely thrive today. Think of Braden Point, Johnny Gaudreau, among others out there. Now, last season in the Swedish Hockey League, so that's the first tier there, he played 40 games with the club Djurgården, and he had 11 goals and 12 assists for 23 points and just 2 penalty minutes. Now, one thing to note there is that he actually has the 5th highest scoring average among first-year eligible players from the Swedish Hockey League. And the reason why I say that is because he's in the same company as the Sedin twins. So, hey, now that's pretty legit. And he's been quoted saying that he likes to model his game after Matthew Barzal. So somebody who likes to excel in all 3 zones. You definitely like to see that. Now let's get a couple of quotes out there from the media. So first of all, Elite Prospects says, Eklund is a player that does not take any shifts off. He is the glue that keeps his line effective in all 3 zones. He plays at high pace and with thought and creativity. He adjusts his speed to the play, scans his surroundings, establishes his pocket of space, and presents himself as a pass or shot option. And I'll have a couple other quotes up here as well. I don't want to read those so much because my voice is a little hoarse here. But yeah, he's expected to actually come to the Sharks development camp soon as well. So that's good. Of course, he got on the phone with Doug Wilson and his son, Director of Scouting Doug Wilson Jr., as well as a couple others, including Logan Couture and Erik Karlsson. So they had a little Swedish chatter as well. And it's great to have Eklund on board here because the Sharks really need to build up their prospect pool. They don't have a whole lot in the system that we can anticipate will translate to NHL-ready talent right now. But I will name a few guys. First and foremost, if we're talking about the Sharks core going forward, you have to include Mario Ferraro, who's still 22 years old as I'm making this video, because he's already played 2 seasons in the NHL, but has developed very rapidly at that level. So I think he's going to be a cornerstone there. Of course, Eklund is going to be among the talented wingers that we have, alongside who we hope would be Ozzy Weisblatt, who's going to play opposite wing of him. He played a little bit with the Prince Albert Raiders and then the Barracuda this past season, and he was our first round selection last year that we got from the Tampa Bay Lightning, so that was 31st overall. A couple other forwards that I want to mention in our prospect pool. First of all, center Thomas Bordeleau. So he played at the University of Michigan, and he had a 30-point season last year in 24 games. I think this guy had really the breakout among the prospects this last year. So I think Bordeleau is going to be playing with the Barracuda this year. Of course, you got to still mention Ryan Merkley, our first-round draft pick from 3 years ago. Certainly a gamble at that position. We need to see more from him, to be honest, and especially we need to see his offensive creativity come out a little bit more. But he's been kind of figuring out sort of how his defensive game is going to mature at the higher levels of play there. So he's still in the fold there. And goaltending, I like to, of course, mention Alexei Melnichuk, who was signed last year from the KHL 23-year-old goaltender. A lot of good Russian goaltenders over the past few years. Shesterkin, Sorokin, Vasilevsky, if you want to mention him as well. So hopefully Melnichuk can be mentioned in the same breath as those guys within the next couple of years. But again, 23 years old, that's still pretty young for a goaltender. So that's what the prospect pool looks like right now for the Sharks. And of course, Eklund is probably going to be number one when it comes to those left wing prospects. And of course, I want to know your thoughts on William Eklund down in the comments below. The Sharks are without their second round pick, but of course, anything can change here on draft day. I'll be summing up some other San Jose Sharks news in a separate video pretty soon, so make sure you stay in the loop, hit the red subscribe button down below, and the notifications bell. That way you know when I'm putting out content on Team Teal and the rest of the NHL. Once again, I'm Nick, and I appreciate you Twisters tuning in. I'll catch you guys later. Ciao.